hard to see. That's okay. So I started going off on a little bit of a tangent today. Something that I was voicing, but something that I was going through internally. And I knew that whenever I started, that this was something that was triggered for me, right? This was something that really hit a core wound for me. And I didn't want to necessarily react to it, but instead I wanted to take it as a learning opportunity for myself. So I think I've gone through all of the attitude scenarios in my head. So what I mean by this is there's this version of me that pops off all the time. Everybody has seen that version of me. But there's that part of me, sometimes I don't say all of that stuff. But what I'm saying, it's truly how I feel, but it isn't necessarily coming off the best way, right? So instead, came out to this place. I'm literally in the middle of the neighborhood, just looking at a field that is mostly... Oh. So this is what I'm looking at right now. It's just a field. Part of it has been harvested and tilled, and the other part has not been. And I just find it so serene. I'm just sitting out here watching the birds and the butterflies. I don't know if you can see them in this video. You see some. So now that I'm sitting here, I thought to myself, how can I express these feelings in a soft but strong way? You see, I'm wearing my soft heart shirt. This is a dragonfly. If you're familiar with dragonflies, or if you're not familiar with dragonflies, they represent positivity. They also remind you that you can change direction in an instant. They are one of the only animals that can literally do a 360-degree turn just like that in an actual instant. And so if you feel like you need to change certain ways about you, sometimes calling upon the dragonfly can really help with that. I'm out here thinking, okay, how can I do this in a soft but strong way? So how can I take these words that are coming out very harsh, that are coming out very blunt, and not in the most kind way, and turn them into a loving way, and turn them into a loving encounter? Because I do love this person deeply. I love this person so much, and I don't want to have a bad relationship with them. I don't want to end this relationship with them ultimately. I'd like to be on good terms. So how do I do this? Because we're not necessarily in bad terms. This is something that, it was a boundary that I felt was crossed, and I know their opinion. They know my opinion, but I feel like there's a little bit of stagnance there. I feel like there isn't any closure. And closure isn't always necessary. But in this case, I feel like either I must say something, or I need to realize the words in my own words, in my own self, so I can truly take this lesson and heal it at the core. Because like I said, this was a triggered thing. I know that what she meant wasn't anything bad. And I know what this person meant was from the goodness of her heart, and they don't see it as a big deal. But just because it's not a big deal to one person doesn't necessarily mean it's not a big deal to another person. It's like they say, whenever you start a conversation, have the end in mind. If you want to be in an argument, cool. You can stay in an argument all you want. If you want a resolved relationship, you can have that too. But you have to know, in order to get to that certain place, you have to go through certain steps. You can't be acting all fuck the world and bullshit crazy, right? If you want a solution ultimately. You can act bullshit crazy if you want, but it's not ultimately going to find you the solution that you want in that moment. Maybe in a couple hours, maybe a little bit later, but not right then. Trust me, I know all about that.